There is a story that goes beyond the IndiGo crisis which must not be missed. Otherwise, we will end up missing the woods for the trees. I will explain in this video why this IndiGo crisis is actually India's aviation crisis. It has exposed the cracks in the system. And therefore, I want to explain to you why this is more of a systemic failure than anything else. It's not about just one airline. Let's get started. IndiGo, once the symbol of punctuality, discipline, and reliability, is under unprecedented scrutiny. Grounded aircrafts, back-to-back technical snags, angry passengers stuck at airports, and viral on-board altercations. It all adds up to one perception: IndiGo is slipping. But here's the twist. Aviation analysts say that this isn't about just one airline. It is symptomatic of a deeper disease. India is now the third largest domestic aviation market, but its infrastructure is still trying to catch up. Airports are choked, runways are overbooked, ATC capacity is stretched thin, and passenger numbers are only growing. In this environment, airlines are forced to operate high utilization schedules, tight turnarounds, aggressive departures, minimal downtime, which means any small disruption snowballs into a major crisis. One delayed flight here and a complete snag, and that obviously has a domino effect. Dozens of aircrafts fall off the schedule. Even maintenance is affected. India still doesn't have enough MRO capacity, so aircraft that need servicing either wait or get flown out, adding delays and cost. This isn't an IndiGo problem, it's an Indian aviation system problem. Let's look at the money. SpiceJet is just always one headline away from financial trouble. Air India is in a massive multi-year overhaul. New players like Akasa are scaling but burning capital. And across the board, carriers are squeezed by high ATF prices. With the rupee depreciation, this only gets worse. Fare wars, intense competition, thin margins. And let's not forget, there are foreign players that are only waiting in the wings to employ the pilots. And that, compounded with the current shortage, adds tremendously to the existing crisis. When airlines operate on razor-thin profitability, something takes a hit. Usually maintenance, staffing, or training capacity, and all of this adds up somewhere or the other to passenger safety. And when profit becomes secondary to market share, safety and efficiency slowly get compromised beyond what you and me can imagine at this point. This means IndiGo's troubles might simply be the most visible example of an industry stretched beyond its limits. What can the regulatory authority do? It is responsible for safety, compliance, and oversight. But can it keep pace with India's aviation explosion? In recent cases, from mass delays to persistent technical issues, questions have emerged about whether proactive supervision is even happening. A booming aviation market needs a regulator that's independent, faster, and sharper. And we are miserably lacking in that department. So what should we do? India must accelerate airport expansion, especially second airports in major metros, scale up MRO facilities so aircrafts are serviced quickly and locally, invest massively in pilot and engineer training pipelines to match future demand, strengthen DGCA with more power, more funding, and most importantly, make safety the centerpiece of aviation policy. So what it exposes is the fragility of the system. Rules are brought in for safety, for passenger safety. If that has to be compromised, if the airline is able to arm twist the government on not enforcing a passenger safety rule, because remember, pilot rest and working hours ratio, the balance, is directly related to passenger safety. If that can be put on hold, one can just imagine where we are headed. The toss-up here that we are talking about is a complete breakdown and a collapse like we saw in the past 1 week, and passenger safety. So we are compromising at that level. Let's awaken ourselves to this problem, and let's also be clear that when you allow someone to grow into this behemoth that IndiGo has grown, they will flex their muscles. That's the reality in this world. Tragedy of the situation, because that ultimately puts you and me in a bit of a spot. We become the sufferers in the end, as we have seen over the last 7 days. Do share and subscribe to Free Press Journal, and for all stories that concern you, that affect you, that impact your day-to-day lives, we here at Free Press Journal are there to watch out for you, and those are the stories that we do. Waiting to hear from you on this story as well. Thanks for watching.